Good morning.
Okay, good morning to you and Donald Jenkins. This is Dennis C. Latham.
Good morning, sir.
Okay, Kevin, since you did bring up the fact about crimes, you want solutions, proven solutions on how to cut back crime in the black community, and I would like to discuss that, even though you wouldn't allow me to talk yesterday. I hope you will today, because we had a conversation yesterday in private that I did not record. But you attempted very harshly to discourage me yesterday and to assassinate my character yesterday because of the GED programs that I wanted to bring forth into the communities where the crime rate is high and the dropout rate is high, and you have the mentality of, if they didn't get it the first time from grade 1 through 12, forget them. Okay? And see, the thing is, you don't know the walks of those children. And I agree, many of them were on their fatherless home, or where the father changed from time to time, often, every week or every month or every year, the father changed or something like that, the man of the house changed. So you don't know what those kids went through, and you don't understand that. So I'm for the GED programs to help get them a high school diploma or a GED, or to push them to get that so they can go further in the educational chain of America. But the point is that you were against that yesterday, and even though you said to me yesterday on the radio and in private on the phone, you said, we already have that. Okay, and I stated to you, we already have money, but why do we keep printing it? And my stance is that the Lord put us here to have an abundance of things in his name, not in Satan's name. Although we as people, as flesh, and you read the perfect scripture this morning, we as flesh, the flesh is evil. And the more you get closer to God, you become like God, because you start to do God's will. Okay? So it is good to have an abundance of learning facilities, training facilities in these type of communities. Instead of having a community center where all they do is do sports, basketball, football, baseball, softball, tennis, all of that type of stuff, but you have an abundance of that. But you do not have an abundance of educational places. You don't have an abundance of skill training places. You don't have that abundance. And let me give this one example. Then I want to address what Donald said. Let me give you one example. When a girl learns how to cook from her mother, she learns it from an early childhood, from a baby, where she watches her mother. And after a while, mother's going to say, no, you don't touch that stove. But after she gets older, then she's going to say, put on me a pot of black-eyed peas, or boil me some water. And then it starts to develop. You have to start at an early age. And I always say from birth, you have to...
All right, give me the short version here, brother, because you put me to sleep on this one.
Okay, I'm putting you to sleep on this one, because I'm showing how to build character in a person. Okay, what I am going to be bringing towards Montgomery and asking others to help. Now, you said that yesterday that nobody is going to step forward to teach anybody anything for free. There are people who would love there's carpenters here in America. There's roofers. There are people who own businesses who would love to teach children for free their skills starting off at an early age. And there's nothing wrong with a 5-year-old learning. They have toys where they hammer nails and things like that. So there's nothing wrong with them.
What I asked you yesterday, and I'm going to ask you again today. Nothing is free. Who's going to pay for it?
Okay, again, Kevin, see, this is your problem. You're concerned about money. That's your only concern. If it don't make money, you don't want nothing to do with it.
You did not answer the question. Nobody's going to open up a building, pay the light bill, pay their insurance for it when we already have schools. Who's going to pay for it, Dennis?
Okay, Kevin, again, your concern is money. You're more concerned about money instead of raising up a child in the way they should be raised.
No, that's up to their father and mother to do that.
Okay,
and we have schools.
Father is not around.
Then the woman made a terrible, stupid mistake.
Okay, and so you're going to condemn the child for that reason?
No, we have public schools. We got plenty of them. We got college. We even got Pell Grant. You can almost go to school for free. You want to take more buildings, cost people more money, and open up more things. I told you yesterday, redundancy after a point becomes stupid.
Okay, and I'll say this here and then I'm through. First of all, if you look at the Jewish people, they reacted to the Holocaust in a way where it will never happen again. That's why they are so rich and they are so powerful now. Blacks react in a way, and they have been taught this way, they react in a way where it can happen to them again, and it is happening to them again. That's why 80+% of the blacks in prison are in there under plea bargains, because they don't have attorneys to go to. They're not treated fair in the justice system. Okay, so and then people like you try to discourage people like me and others who are going to do some things in the black community.
Then don't talk about it, just do it.
It's being done. But
okay.
I just want people to know, while they lifted you and swelled your head up yesterday, you're really following the path of white supremacy in America. And America was not founded on Christianity. It was founded on Satan and satanic things.
All right, appreciate it. Don't say I didn't give you a chance to talk. Good morning on there.
Good morning, Kevin.
Morning.
Good morning, Donald. How you doing?
Good morning. Doing just fine this morning.
And it's just breath of fresh air.
Well, good. And let me premise this by saying what we're trying to do here today, and I'm writing down notes as people call in, we're looking at what is the problem and what is the solution. We're trying to find what are the solutions to the problem. So do you have an addition to what is the problem and what is the solution?
I don't have time to really go into it, but Dennis was right on a lot of things. A lot of things that you said was true. It would take time to really do it, but for some reason in our community, and you was absolutely right, because I'm listening, a lot of things cause our people to be in the condition. But as Kevin stated, he didn't want to talk about that. See, we don't, as Mother Nature used to say, you remember her.
Oh, absolutely.
We got to go back to the beginning. But we don't want to go to the beginning. The beginning. Because it steps on somebody else's toes out there. And we don't want to do that. And I have to go back. I listened the other night on the radio, and Kevin said something about a case. He said if it wasn't video, it didn't happen. And I was watching TV, and that's what one of the news people was saying now in America. If it's not video, people think it didn't happen. I married a lady the other morning that was robbed the other morning. It wasn't video, but it didn't happen. What we have to do, Brother Jenkins, and you know this, and you're doing a great job over there in Centennial Hill. But if we had Centennial Hill in all our community, which can be done, the World War II veterans, they came here. When they came back from overseas, they came and started doing something in the community and said never be anymore. But when the Vietnam veterans come, we put them under the bridge and spit on them and say things. You understand? We as young black men and black men in general, we need to get in our community and say we tired of the killing in the mirror. Let nobody else come and try to. You can come later on after. And I tell Mr. Boyd this all the time. You need to take 2 or 3 people and sit down in a room and say these are 3 problems that we're going to address, and we bring it to the community. And if the community don't want to accept it, you move on, get people from out of town. You know more about the movement, what they did back during the Montgomery boycott. I'm going through a lot of things because it takes all this to get us back on the track. And Dennis is absolutely right. Those guys yesterday were trying to applaud Kevin and talking about you saying the right thing, but you can't get them to come, sit down, to address our problem. I've been calling on this for years and years. Dr. King said he was in the steering committee all night. All night. And when he got home, he got that crazy call around 12 o'clock. Say, bad thing happened at midnight. But if we could get some real men to sit down and say, this is what's wrong now, and go to the forefathers of the power to be and say, we're not going to tolerate this. First thing, we need to get drugs out of our community. I'm not worried about no guns. Get the drugs out of our community and create jobs. You're right. Every majority of the cases in the black community is plea bargains. And we have had lawyers to tell us. I was one looking at me. He say, no, you didn't do that, but he's a police officer. They going to believe him. So you go on plea bargain. And me and the young man, grandma, was standing up there. She looked at me. I looked at him. The guy had to plea bargain to something he didn't do. So what do we do about these things? I would suggest, if something happened like that, you protest. 381 days like they did in the Montgomery Post. But see, nobody really want to do that, Brother Jenkins. And what you is talking about, I want to see if those people was applaud Kevin going to attack you because they know what you're saying is true.
All right, and with that, got to take a break. We'll be back.